Jeff,
Arif.
finally we get to have you on the block.
I know. It's usually Jesse or someone else, and I'm privileged.
Awesome. We're going to talk everything, mostly sales in real estate with a little bit of marketing in there. But why don't you introduce yourself?
Well, Jeff, as you know,
Yeah.
been in the industry for just over 20 years. Been working on sales, and then came over with you guys in September. Been a great run so far. Before that, working in the show homes, did some online sales with 102 out of Lethbridge.
Mm-hmm. And the builders you used to work for were?
Shane and Genesis.
Right.
So great experiences with both there.
Mm-hmm.
And then just bringing all those tools over here to City Block, and it's been lots of fun.
Yeah, and now you're our growth director, and we've had a ton of meetings since you came on last year. Really good meetings. We spent a good portion of last year just getting intel, talking to builders, talking to the marketing teams, the sales teams, which was really cool because when I first started the business, I was really talking to just marketing, and then that's where the company was going. But then we realized that, oh man, like the sales teams weren't getting any love and the marketing teams weren't getting any love, and they weren't really working together on the same island. And so when you came on, our real emphasis right now is moving towards having the two entities work together to really enhance the buyer's journey, to ultimately create buyers that are brand loyal, right? That want to stay with a builder. And then I think the newest kind of shift is we're seeing like, well, hold on, sales are boots on the ground. They're talking to people every day. They're getting the personas or the avatars that are going to buy that certain product. And they're now feeding information to marketing, which allows marketing to like do their, pie in the sky thinking, but still looping it back to that client. Whereas before we were noticing that maybe marketing had all these great ideas, but there was no link to really who the buyer was.
Well, and now you can start to see it's, yes, marketing and sales, but now it's sales and marketing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of changed a little bit that way.
Yeah, exactly.
And starts making the salespeople feel not important, but empowered, right? To help with the decision making on marketing.
So tell us the role of a salesperson. Like we'll say for like residential homes, just because the leasing side is a bit different. But on residential side, what does a good market look like for a salesperson? Let's just say 8 months ago, 12 months ago, what is a salesperson doing in the show homes? And then I want to switch it to now. So, and what are salespeople doing now in the show homes?
So basically with a lot of areas, it was actually order taking. There was such a demand in the market that everybody was freaking out going, I need to get in, interest rates are going up, prices are going to go up, I can make money, there's all these people that are coming into the market, moving to Calgary or wherever it may be, and supplies going down. So everybody was rushing to get into a show home and purchase a house.
Yeah.
So for a salesperson, it was basically, give me a check and let's write up this deal now. And if you're not ready, the person behind you is going to purchase, right? So makes it really interesting and fun for the salesperson because all they're seeing is all this activity. If you look at it now, there's some areas that are slow because of the interest rates now, the prices have gone up. It's taking longer to build a house just because of labor, and getting land up. So it's taking a little bit longer. So the role of the salesperson now is a lot different because now you have to nurture that buyer. So you're starting to look at, getting out of the bad habits. Like salespeople had habits when you have a strong market.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. That must be a struggle or a tough shift. Like and it always happens, especially in our market. It's overnight. It's just like, how do they? Well, and maybe they're not. Maybe they're struggling with this. So maybe it's not a how do they, but like, is it a struggle for it to go hot and then cold? And then what do they do? Like, how do they work through that?
So anybody that's been experienced and has gone through those cycles before have seen what it takes.
Right.
The new people, if they aren't being trained properly or, being nurtured themselves by sales managers and that, they don't know those ups and downs. So one of the big things that I always think is training. Training is important for these people, and get back to the basics of selling. What is it that it's going to take to sell? And that includes the marketing side of things too. So, it goes back to the basics of why is that person coming into that show home? Beforehand it was they want to get into a house so that they can, gain money on investment.
Right.
Whereas now it's shifted where there's different needs that people are going into a show home. Mm-hmm. So now you have to sell to a person's dissatisfaction, right? And that's the biggest thing is why is that person coming into your show home?
So they made a choice to come in, and we know that when people are purchasing today anything, could be a house, could be a pair of shoes, we know they're well researched before they came in because there's so much information, plus with all the advertising that they're seeing, they already know your brand. They might not know the salesperson, but they know the brand, and they have chosen to walk through those doors.
Yep. So
are they always tire kickers?
No. And I look at it during COVID time, that was a huge thing. COVID was a chance for people to start going online, and a lot of builders started to look at different platforms on, putting the lots on hold, being able to actually purchase homes. And in Vancouver was a huge one with, you could put an apartment, a condo on hold, and you could actually purchase it right there online and not even see a salesperson, right? So you saw a lot of those platforms out there, and so people were well researched. They were doing all their research beforehand. So they're still doing that now. So before they come to your show home, they've done the research.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So you got to make yourself different now when people come into your show home than your competitor. So there's a lot of things. The biggest reason, number one reason why people are shopping for a new home is dissatisfaction. There's something in their life that has changed.
Right.
And you need to find out what that is.
So I'm going to stop you right there. 100% agree. I think we have to do more listening than telling. 3 beds up, all the details about the house before even understanding why they came in. And so that requires listening. And I think from my experience, like you said, when things are crazy, the salespeople really don't need to take time to understand these things, because listening takes time. Tell me more. Blah, blah, blah. Tell me more. Tell me more, right? And then you start to really understand that they're actually in there because of the school their best friends' kids are going to.
Yep.
But they walked in and you started throwing them the kitchen layout and how big the pantry is.
Or the price.
Or the price. Not knowing they've already researched that model or your brand or the lots or the development. They wanted to know about the schools. So to your point, you have to ask questions.
And you got to find out the whys.
Yeah.
Right? So you find out what those dissatisfactions are. Could be location. Like I was just with one of our clients, one of our customers, and talking to the sales staff. And they had a person that made a phone call, came in, and within 48 hours bought. So I said, well, why?
Yeah. How did
why?
That, yeah.
How did that happen? And they're like, they got a new job. They moved to outlying city. The commute was too long. It was costing them too much money. And they had to make that move, and then that same salesperson goes, yeah, and I got one that I'm working on for 2 months. and is sitting on the fence. And so I said, did you ask the right questions? Did you find out what's changed in their life? And then she goes, well, they're on the fence. And I said,
Yeah.
so what got them on the fence?
What does that look like?
Yeah. What got them on the fence? Yeah. And let's figure out that solution on how to get them off that fence. Because there's a reason why they were on the fence. Was it price? Was it school? Was it job? You know, there's so many different things. And it was funny because she couldn't even answer that question for me. And she's like, oh, I didn't even think about finding out why they're on the fence. You know, so it's doing a lot of digging.
It's scary, and I get it. Like for salespeople or anyone, digging may seem intrusive, but in reality, I believe that it shows whoever's in front of you that you care, and that you are taking extra time to understand, which is a notch up. And I also know, like salespeople, to their senior leadership teams or owners will, you know, in downtimes it can sometimes become negative and a kind of a complaint fest, and that's really what we're trying to do at City Block, is to help the other groups help them, being marketing, and there's some other stakeholders in that. But the complaint culture, because it's hot and cold, and I know that's a very hard shift for anyone. But it's really interesting. I think it was a podcast that I was listening to when the question's asked is, you know, how's it going out there? And they're like, oh, it's super slow. Well, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. It could be busy if one person is coming in and you just close that one person, right? So if 10 people come in and you close, say, 3 of them, but it was a clean close, it was exactly where the developer wanted that product to go or sell for, that's success.
Yep.
Right? Because you're still selling.
But how did you get that one sale?
It's putting that effort in there,
right?
Yeah.
And you know that if you only gain a couple people in through that show home, which the traffic in most show homes are probably down because more people are looking online.
Exactly.
Right. So now you got those people that are coming in. There's a reason.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure you're closing those, or you know, finding out the reasons for it. You know, one of the biggest things that I would say is, you know, when it is slow, is getting the good habits. Like, what happened to when it was so busy and you had, you know, 30 people a week coming through that show home? Where are those people? You know, I look back at my early days where there was no CRMs or anything like that, and writing on paper and keeping all my notes there. Whereas now there's CRMs where you can go back to those people that were coming in 6 months ago, and you can reach out to them. So if it's slower in the show home, there's habits, i.e. going back to previous leads, finding out where they're at.
Let's talk about CRMs quickly. So we know in our industry, at least in Alberta, Lasso has been one of the most adopted within the last 5 years, I would say. Now kind of mature, it's seeing its time. We consciously as a company became a HubSpot partner, which you're certified in, because we saw that there's better CRMs out there. So what makes a good CRM for the real estate industry, for home sales predominantly?
So, as you know, we're using HubSpot, and the nice thing about HubSpot, it's one platform, right? Whereas all these other ones, you know, some of them are good, some of them do their purpose, but if you're wanting to add on or go, oh, I need this, it becomes a cobbled effect, and now you have to add, and the initial price may be cheaper.
It usually is,
right?
Yeah.
But then once you start doing all these add-ons, now you have to be an expert in all of those add-ons.
Exactly.
Plus that price is going to go up.
So the cost is not only in the software, but it's now all the people that have to be part of this thing, because one person knows this, one person knows that. It's a mess.
And then with HubSpot, with it being one platform, I call it one source of truth, right? Because it has everything on there. It tracks your emails. It logs everything. You can see everything with that client. How many times they looked on the website. You know, if they looked at a newsletter. I just went through with one of our clients yesterday and did a training with the staff and went through on newsletters going, look at this client here. They've looked at this newsletter 10 times, did 6 clicks. Have you reached out to them?
It's pretty warm.
Right?
At least to
say, hey, see that you're on the site. You know, so there's a lot of nice things about HubSpot that mirror and align the marketing and sales.
And I'm going to say this word, it's persona centric or marketing content centric, which means that everything in this system is around Jeff.
Yep.
All the activity that Jeff has done is shown in different parts. And that allows the sales teams and even the marketing teams to get intel. So the marketing teams are going to look at personas. What does a Jeff look like? The sales teams are going to look at what is Jeff doing and how do I reach out to him? Then, so everything is everything surrounds a marketing contact. And in behind that is this engine that does a lot of work, right? So pipelines where if Jeff is here, moves to here, it could trigger this email that the salesperson didn't even have to think about writing it on a piece of paper. It just goes out, which is that touch, constant touches throughout. They may do some, but then also the system can do some.
Well, and I was just going to mention is the nice thing about HubSpot and the CRM programs, you know, there are other good CRM programs out there as well, but with HubSpot, I call it, you know, the customer journey. Mm-hmm. It has a very good customer journey. It's different workflows, and it actually makes the job easier for the salesperson.
Right.
And for a salesperson, if it's slow, yes, they got the time to do it, but when it's busy, you want to be still top of mind to your competition. So those emails are automatically going out to the people that are coming in through your show home without the salesperson having to do anything. You know, as soon as they enter it in to the system, they could be walking over to the next show home and all of a sudden get an email going, hey, thanks for coming into my show home. That person now is going to go, holy cow.
Well, it's funny because it pops on, because everyone looks at their phone generally or their watch. They're walking into the next show home, they get that and they're like, oh, top of mind again, thinking about this builder, but I'm thinking about builder A, but I'm in builder B right now, and really sizing them up. It's just, that's a good point.
You know, and it just creates that customer journey. And same thing, you know, during that customer journey is through the stages of the build, do emails get missed or do things fall through the cracks? They can. Yeah. Whereas with HubSpot and with the pipeline that we've built for a lot of our clients, we have those triggers so that those emails automatically go out. So at those pain points or those customer touch points that are required, they're already automated. So nobody has to think about it. Nobody is missed.
Why are CRMs such a struggle for salespeople? I have my theories, but I want to hear what you say.
So a lot of it's technology.
Yeah.
They want it as simple as possible.
Okay.
Right? Anything simple that they don't have to do as much work on.
Makes sense, but that's the whole point.
They start adopting. Yeah. You know, yes, with HubSpot, when we've been working with some of our clients, we've had some pushback. But as soon as they start to see, oh, it's doing this for me, I don't have to do this, it makes things so much easier for them. You know, and all the different tools that HubSpot has, like when I was talking with the sales staff yesterday, seeing the marketing, and that's the big thing is with,
so they understand.
With HubSpot, they can see the marketing, the social media that went out, the newsletter for their community.
Right.
They see all of that.
Any promotion, any blog, any landing page.
And that's the biggest thing is with the, you know, aligning marketing and sales is marketing has this idea, okay, let's throw this promo out here, and it goes out, and then you have a client that comes
and you have no idea.
And they're like, I'm coming in about this promo.
Not good.
Right?
Not good.
Whereas with HubSpot, they can actually see who's been going on to it.
Yeah, I would say, I say there's 3 things that I want to talk about when it comes to CRMs in general and why they're not successful for some brands. I had another point, but I forget what it is, so I'll talk about the 3. So from our research last year, we found that people are like, it's not working. CRM's not working. And I'm like, okay, hold on. It takes 2 to tango all the time. How was it introduced? went through a salesperson generally. This is what it does, bells and whistles, they drop off. Okay. How was your team how was it built out? Well, what do you mean? Well, how does your business run? Well, we run it like this. So was that translated in the CRM and built out in that way or improved? No. Okay, well, I can see why the CRM is not working. And thirdly, who was onboarded? Who was trained? I'm actually going to add a bonus to this one. Who was trained after it was built out? And how long was that training? Because I will also say CRMs, we'll throw in a training. It's like maybe it's 1 day, but it's not. It's 3 hours. Nope. It's not enough.
Nope.
So we always say when we do any type of CRM investigation or implementation or whatever it is, along with all the marketing stuff we do and all that stuff, is who's building it. So we'll usually build it based on a lot of conversation with their teams, the stakeholders, how they're going to use it, what's the product type, who's the persona, all of that stuff. Okay, done. It's all built out, but then who's going to use it? And then it's like working out. It's like adopting anything. Who's the coach?
Yep.
And so we've implemented our champion program, which you do, in which you're not there to tell people how to sell or boss
Nope.
them around. You are their partner
Yep.
to make them successful. So what you're doing is, okay, we're going to go through the training together, and then you check in.
Yep.
You're able to see all the dashboards to see
who's working in it,
Yeah.
who's using it, where the downfalls are, and celebrating the wins.
Oh yes,
Right,
of course.
and that's one of the big things is celebrating the wins, and that's a key thing is instead of going, oh, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, let's celebrate the wins. Hey, this is what's going right. Here's some things that we need to work on.
Yeah.
How do we get you to that?
And you've been there, and whether
We're-
that takes 6 months or 12 months, we found that our clients see value in that because who else is going to do it in the organization?
Yep.
So, and you know that, both the marketing and sales side, so you can make everyone understand what's happening. But I think it's important. So if anyone's going to adopt a CRM, I think it's ask obviously what the price of the software is, but then who's along the way to build it, show it, and then help maintain it. And I think salespeople, well, based on your feedback, is that they're starting to get used to. You can't just throw them in a sales center and be like, we have this new thing.
Here you go.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the things with salespeople, if you turn it back onto how it's going to make them money,
Of course.
right?
Ease of use, less pain for any product in this world.
I tell salespeople if they use it properly, it's going to
Does it
gain
save
them.
time?
It's going to save them time,
Yeah.
but they'll more likely get 1 to 2 deals a year extra that they wouldn't have had because of all the automation and all of the touch points that
that's
are
right.
happening
Yeah.
and putting them top of mind.
Exactly.
And you were making a point about the costs and stuff like that. I look at it as, so if every single one of your salespeople can gain 1 to 2 more deals a year, that one area is going to pay for that.
I think it's more, but that will pay
Yeah.
for it.
It'll pay for it.
That pays for your initial year of build out and setup, and I mean it's costly. Not going to lie, we tell people the truth. But the following years, once it's built,
It's huge.
and now you're building a culture. You've brought in another process around this. You're defining who buys your homes better. And now what we're finding with some of our clients is they want more meaning behind their brand, meaning they want lifelong customers. So they've got different products for every segment of a person's life.
Yep.
Right? It could be multifamily, then to move up single family home or whatever. Like they have a whole, all the way to custom, or maybe not custom, but like the luxury kind of higher end home that's 1.4 million plus or whatever the case may be. And they want those lifelong customers, right?
Yep. Well, and you're seeing clients that are staying with a brand, if they like that brand to begin with, their first house to their retirement house.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That's what
And then their kids are coming in, but everything in between to keep that client.
Yeah.
It's the customer journey. It's keeping them informed. And that's where CRMs, that's where salespeople, setting up the expectations right up front is huge.
Yeah, and I want to close on one more thing to that point is that journey also needs to be fostered by other type of inputs. So we've decided to strategically partner with a few other like-minded businesses, again, that are about the customer journey. One being 𝐒𝐚𝐥𝐿, an amazing concierge service after the keys are handed over, all the other stuff that people need to worry about moving, utility setup, all that kind of stuff. And then also for the sales side, we have 𝐒𝐚𝐫, right? Which is that online MLS platform that helps the sales teams. They're empowered to sell certain product that they want.
With 𝐒𝐚𝐫, the biggest thing is salespeople want to make sure that they're getting paid.
Sure.
Right? Realtors want to get paid as well. So with 𝐒𝐚𝐫's system, it works for both.
Yeah.
Right? It still goes on MLS, but it gives that salesperson that opportunity to sell it, to make their commission on it, and still with the realtors still being able to sell it as well. I think right now, and I haven't seen their latest data, but they're one of the top for new home sales. With their program, and it's just getting bigger and bigger, and more people are knowing it. And then with virtual, they just continue that customer journey for the clients that they're working for. So the builders that are using them have that customer journey way past handing over the keys. It doesn't end there. It continues on. And that's why.
And those builders have decided to invest in these platforms for that reason.
And that's why I think it's great for us having them as strategic, solution partners with us. It just works with our model going forward too.
Okay, so to close out, I want to just bring up a couple key things that I think salespeople should think about going forward, and you think about a couple. I would say the underlying theme of today's discussion is that people are buying differently, they're thinking differently, and they want to be top of mind, and they want to feel important. So that's the customer journey. However you do that, whatever you implement in your company, that should be the North Star and always part of the overall mission. So two things that I've noticed over the last 2 to 4 years, I would say. I would encourage salespeople to never stop learning. Okay, so I find that salespeople will be in the industry for a long time and they think that's it, they know it. I've heard them tell me this. There is no other way. So then the results are going to be, because there's others that will continue to learn and be more savvy and make more sales. Never stop learning is one of them. And then some conventional brand specific items, older kind of like signage and stuff. When you walk, every day you walk through the show home doors from your car, please look at the house. I have seen Christmas lights, strings flying all over the place. They light up the homes, but you'll see a line that's like dangling, and for months I've seen light bulbs out. I've seen signs with slush splashed all over them, and I understand that the sales, especially in hard times, actually both times, hard times and busy times, straight through the door. Every piece counts, because as people are driving by and taking their valuable time to go look at your home or do the homes there, the one that's cleanest, that cares about the brand, that's, the house is clean, super important.
That sets the first impression for any buyer.
Absolutely. That's how your house is going to get built.
You could be the best salesperson out there.
Doesn't matter.
Have a dirty show home, dirty signs. You've just lost that buyer. And that's one of the big ones that I agree with is control the controllables. Control what you can control as a salesperson. Your signs.
It's 5 minutes.
The show home, if the floor is dirty, when it's, snow out, and wipe it up. Couple things that I would say is, going back to the previous, beforehand it used to be greet, qualify, do a demo, and then close that client. Now it's people are coming in because they're educated, they're dissatisfied about something. So you got to dig into what are they dissatisfied about? You know, it could be location, it can be lifestyle, it could be, you know, convenience, neighborhood.
Could be a divorce.
There's
like you don't know.
There's so many different things, and it's, as a salesperson, the number one thing that you got to look at when you're selling is what is making this person dissatisfied. They're in there for a reason. If you find out that, you're going to be able to close. And I don't know if you noticed, but I didn't even bring up price. A lot of people are like going, price is after the fact. If you can check off all the boxes on why they're dissatisfied, they're going to buy. You know, then you bring up the price. You know, and you look at all the different options. And yes, price is going to come into play, but there's different ways of doing it. And you know, that might be another thing that we can talk about next time on the block.
Right.
You know, and we can talk more and more about sales, but that'll be my number one thing to say is find out what's causing that person to be dissatisfied. If you build that and find out what's going on there and build that rapport with that customer, it's going to be that much easier to close them.
Cool. Well, I think that was eventful. We could talk for hours.
Oh, I know.
We'll probably do some more, but if anyone ever has questions, obviously they can reach out to us and dig a little bit more, but thanks for your time.
Oh, it's been fun.
Yeah, and maybe next time we'll wrestle.
No, maybe we should do it on the ice where you shoot pucks at me.
Yeah, I thought about that the other day. Jeff's a goalie. And I actually thought about that. It'd be so much fun. We might have to do that. So anyway, Thanks a lot. And as things change, because things are always changing, the way people are buying and stuff, we'll do another episode and kind of update everyone on what we're seeing.
Lots of fun.
Awesome.